What's up, War Report family? It's your boy C-Dub. And we're doing a little something special tonight. We're actually talking Auburn basketball while they're playing. We'll give you our thoughts on the game against Georgia. And even though the regular season in football is wrapping up, it's portal season. So we're going to talk about all the visits and upcoming visits of potential guys who are coming to Auburn's campus. All that and more in the latest edition of the Mid-Week Rapport. Let's get it. War Eagle again, everyone. I'm joined by Ike Jones, B. Will. We are the War Rapport, brought to you by one of our favorite sponsors, auburnsports.com. Thank you guys for supporting the Midweek Rapport. Shout out to JG Tate and those guys. And please be sure to head on over there to get your latest regarding Auburn athletics. Definitely appreciate you guys. Appreciate those guys. We appreciate you for hanging out with us. Please be sure to share this content on social media, smash that like button, subscribe so that you can join our community, help us grow. Also, you need to become a member too, because we got some dope content. Ike, tell them all about it, sir.
Yeah, absolutely. You guys come on board with the War Rapport. I've been cranking out content for you just kind of in the middle of the day, man. Just going live, talking about football. I'm going to go live talking about basketball. I'm just going to go live and we're going to break down film with the family. So you guys got to be a member to get to that level of participation. What I have been doing is, for those of you who are supporters, when it goes live, you guys can come into the stream, but the rewatch, patron only, right? So I'm giving you an opportunity to at least see it a little bit. But if you want to be, if you don't catch it live as a supporter and you want to be able to watch it later, sorry, it's going to be patron only, man. But I am in here getting y'all some great information. Morning drops are going out there. That's member only chat. Man, listen, putting content out, man. We're doing our thing. If you are a member and you want to gift the membership, you can definitely do that. Really easy right there from the live chat. YouTube says, hey, if you're a faithful follower of the War Report, then you can get a gift of membership from somebody else. We're going to give away a mug today. And thanks to my guy, B. Will, for the idea. I got a new mug that's going to be dropping on y'all. We'll talk about that Friday morning on the morning drop, though. Just a little teaser for that. Appreciate the idea on the new mug that's coming out for that morning drop. But yeah, we're going to be giving away a mug today. Hashtag Get Your Weight Up, sponsored by War Eagle Oil. Hashtag Get Your Weight Up. You got to be present to win this. I know a lot of people are probably watching the game right now, so you have a better chance of winning because less people, you know what I'm saying? But still, get your weight up, hashtag, and we'll get this mug drawing going in about an hour.
All right, guys, we came up with the idea to kind of do this show while watching Auburn basketball. Are we starting to regret that decision a little bit? Auburn is hanging in there, and this isn't the same Georgia Bulldogs basketball we were used to under the former coach. Mike White is the new head coach, and Auburn is hanging in there, but are down 6 currently. Thoughts on the game so far and what you're seeing, fellas?
I'm seeing a lot of bad offense and just guys that look like they are rushing through their stuff, man. Jalen Williams specifically in the lane rushing his stuff a lot. And then Wendell Green looks like he's forcing it a lot. Alan Flanagan looking like Alan Flanagan from last year, and that's not a good thing.
Hell of a jumper right there, though.
Yeah, man.
Turn around, good
Ooh,
shot there.
Now, right, you talked about pregame. I do want to ask you a few questions, Ike, because you did the pregame, which guys definitely get in there and hang out with Ike when he does the pregame, where he gives some keys and some things he's looking forward to seeing. You talked about you're not expecting a lot offensively from this team. We are who we are at this point.
Mhm.
But you wanted to see some better movement offensively. Obviously, have you seen any semblance of that? Have you seen moments of that, or we just look kind of bad offensively?
Nah, offensively, you're gonna need to be able to get easy buckets in order to be good as a team offensively. And I just don't think that we've done a good job. I don't know how that wasn't a jump ball right there, but
Yeah,
I
I
don't
don't
think
either.
we've done a good job of getting easy buckets for ourselves in transition or otherwise. Georgia's doing a good job of getting out in transition, and the sarcastic good call from John Broom was good. Georgia's doing a good job of getting back in transition and also getting out in transition early on their offense to try to get easy buckets, whether it's a made basket or not. Like they're just pushing the tempo a little bit more. But we haven't done a good job of making it easy for ourselves. And the shots that we probably could make, we're just not doing a good job of making them. Again, the stuff in the lane from Jay Will hasn't been great, man. He's had some open shots. Please don't shoot that three again.
He's been shooting a lot of threes in this game, right?
Yeah,
He made at least one of them.
He made two, but he just needs that's not his shot, man. And we're too far behind for him to continue to shoot that. That's a really great move in the open court there.
Well, who else is shooting the shots? You know what I'm saying? Like at this point, is there his percentage from three isn't worse than everybody else's from
it's
two?
Not worse. He definitely was straight up and down. That shouldn't have been a foul on Janai. That's two bad calls, I think, on Janai Broom right there, back to back. Anyway, what he's not doing, what we're not doing well again is just making the easy shots that we have available to us right now, shooting 36% from the field. Conversely, Georgia is shooting 42.9%. So they're knocking down shots and we're not.
Yeah, and they're getting to the line, which is expected when you're the home team. They're getting the calls, as Ike just alluded to, the two quick ones on Broom. So that's part of playing on the road, though.
Yeah, let me just interject this. Wendell Green 100% travels every time he touches the ball when he gets it in the backcourt. He does it every time. He takes like 2 or 3 steps before he dribbles every single time. Every single time.
Oh,
man.
Goodness.
I really thought this was going to be a turnaround, a breakout season for Flanagan, man, but it just doesn't.
Not so.
Not so.
You was wrong.
Let's
defensively, Ike, one of the things that you like about Auburn's chances in games is when they're able to keep opponents under 60. Not guaranteed or expected every time, but you like Auburn's chances given how we tend to struggle offensively. It looks like Georgia is on their way to getting over 60.
Yeah, easily.
Your thoughts on Auburn's defense today?
It hasn't been bad. I don't think we've played bad defense. I think Georgia has done a good job of making buckets. You haven't seen just a ton of wide open shots from Georgia, which is, indicative of bad defense. I think what we haven't done well on the defensive end is just getting back in transition defense because we're allowing them to get too many uncontested. Like that's a bad defensive possession right there. But
yeah, it was.
As soon as I say, they haven't had a lot of wide open shots, they get a wide open dunk. But yeah, there haven't been a lot of possessions like that, right? But what they have done, what Georgia has done, is gotten good early offense of. It hasn't been a fast break, but they've done a good job of just getting the ball early down the court and making guys have to get back in transition. And that's where we haven't been great is transition basketball on defense.
I'd like to see more of that.
Yeah. That's the guy. To me, he's the guy.
Yeah.
He's the guy.
The only issue with Broom so far is that he definitely looks for a shot down low. He's got some good footwork to get off a good shot. The problem is that he doesn't pass out of the double particularly well.
No.
So it's like, okay, you've got it, and now you've got to find somebody, but you've got to be in his view for him to. And we don't have anything creative going off of him with those low post touches. It's just like, all right, I'm gonna find the open guy, but we don't get a great shot off of it necessarily.
Yeah,
we're moving it if he gets doubled or he forces it on the double, but. It just doesn't look like a fantastic shot when they put more bodies on him to stop him down there.
That's the guy who's been disappointing for me today is KD Johnson. Yeah. I just don't think KD has played within himself at all. He let the crowd kind of amp him up a little bit, and he's played out of control this game.
Okay.
1 of 4.
Okay.
Still a lot of time left in this game.
Let me ask you this, Ike. Bay Lyman saying refs calling everything on us. You talked about how that can affect Auburn's how aggressive the defense can be in the game. Do you think that's had any impact on Auburn defensively based on how the officiating is going?
I mean, not really, because I mean, we've only had 12 personal fouls called on us. I think that there was a stretch right there where I feel like there were a lot of bad calls being levied against us. But I don't think it's been terrible this game as far as officiating is concerned. That's a good offensive possession right there from Georgia. I don't think it's been terrible officiating wise. But I just don't know what Auburn needs to do besides from a defensive perspective, besides doing what they've been doing, which is just rallying to the ball and making it chaotic. But Georgia's doing a good job of being patient. That's a shot you got to make.
Yeah,
Wendell's got to make that one.
I like the shot though. I like the
no,
the shot selection.
it's a great pump fake. Get to your medium range. He just hasn't really been making very much this game. Ooh, that's a terrible layup. Yeah. But we don't get the board, and they get an easy bucket.
That's something that's been disappointing too. That I've been used to is that
back
when
out
Broom
to 9.
goes
Every
up,
time we get it close, man, they push it back out to 9.
Yeah, when Broom goes up either for a block or he doesn't get the board, we're just vulnerable. Like Georgia's cleaning up after that as well. So Auburn's trailing 53-62 with 6:41 left in the second half.
What does what does Cardwell's lack of minutes say to y'all? Because I want to say I've been surprised.
I think he's hurt. Oh, yeah, okay. He's been wearing a back brace pretty much every, like, if I've been at the games and there's a timeout that they showed it. He's got this brace on. It's got the little lights on the back. I think he's just not 100% right now, and so they're playing him in spot duty because he just can't go for a lot of minutes. I don't know what's up with his back, but he's definitely been wearing some sort of brace on his back.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I mean,
I wondered about that early in the season.
Wendell's 2 for 11, 0 for 5 for 3.
Yeah,
just hasn't been his night. Flanagan has 11. He's the second leading scorer.
Yeah.
A little disappointed. This is not a good night for Jay Will. 1 of 6. He's not being that presence inside that you need him to be for sure.
Right. Yeah, it's the twos that he's missing, right? Like 1 of 2 from 3 isn't bad, but it's the shots in the lane that he's missing that really are shots that he makes pretty routinely that have been the difference, I think, for us offensively. If he was more confident in hitting those shots, so he's missed, let's see, he's taken 4 2-point baskets and missed all of them, right? If he hits 2 of those, I think they play us defensively a little bit differently and we go to him a little bit more. It changes the trajectory of this game. We're down by 9 right now. It's an additional 4 points. It puts it to 5, and it just changes the trajectory of the game if he's able to do that. Then the other thing is the free throw shooting. 7 of 11 from free throws. Like, we just can't be a 60% free throw shooting team. We've got to be, and I talked about this in the pregame, above 80% from the free throw in order for, with us shooting so poorly from the floor, right? Like, you can't be both. Like, you gotta, if you're gonna get to the free throw line and you're gonna draw the fouls, you got to be a better free throw shooting team than what we're being right now.
Yeah, for sure. Bay Lyman says, I'm gonna go to some of the comments. Appreciate you guys hanging out with us while watching the game. We get to lament while Auburn is trailing. Hopefully they can turn it around. They got some time. But Bay Lyman says, why are our small guys driving the basket and not our bigs?
Bigs don't have handles like that, really.
I mean, yeah, you don't normally see bigs drive to the basket. I think the issue that I have is not with the driving to the basket. It is more so like bigs who are actually going to get buckets down low, Janai Broom, right? And he is not going to just put nobody on skates out there. He's not a step out guy and put somebody face up. He's more of a back to the basket true post player. The only other guy that really has any driving ability is Jay Will, but he doesn't have great finishing around the rim. He's more of a medium range finisher or a dunker. So I don't expect those guys to drive, but being more aggressive and getting closer for shots and not like fading away like Janai Broom has been doing on some of the shots that he's taking, I think is a fair point. Like, we need to try to get it in closer and get better percentage of baskets. But listen, I like the guards driving it and not just forcing up threes. They haven't, we've shot a lot of threes tonight, 18 of them, but there weren't a lot of them that were bad threes.
Yeah, for sure. All right. Gabby, good to have you with us, Gabby. She says Flan needs to just give up basketball, head to New York and become a male model. He just may have a more lucrative career. Well, listen, he's at.
Mm.
We need him. We need him tonight. He's our second leading scorer for sure.
Yeah.
But he has not.
Mm.
I know
This is the game where we need those freshmen. I think B Will said it in the chat. We need those freshmen to play good, and they haven't been able to do anything.
Yeah.
Traore has even taken a
their
shot.
minutes. But their minutes are
I did
down
see him
now.
block somebody's shot. I don't know if
Yeah, he got one block shot, but he
I don't know if
hasn't
he took
taken a
any.
single shot. He just seems to like be out there to pass the ball to people as opposed to like doing anything actively. And then of course, Berman has gotten in the game, but you don't
Right.
see any minutes from the other freshmen out there in Westry, right? So like,
Right.
I don't even, is Westry even at this game? I have no idea.
I don't know. I mean, it's pretty clear that Bruce is tightening the lineup for guys who are going to
That he
prioritize
can rely
defense.
on.
Yeah.
And
I mean, I don't know if it was an issue of effort on defense with Westry. I think Westry was maybe just a little overwhelmed a little bit when he started getting some more minutes. Our competition stiffened up, but I mean, it's to be expected. The difference between this year and last year is that, of course, we had an experienced center coming in with Walker Kessler to hold us down defensively. Wendell Green was getting everything he wanted the first half of the season before we played some competition and started tightening up on him. And we had time for number one Jabari to sit it out. He was our most significant freshman. So KD was brand new, but he was experienced. Walker Kessler was new to this team, but he was experienced. The players we need to be great are not experienced. The ones that will make the difference, that have better jump shots. We think Traore is a more polished offensive player than probably most of the guys on this team. But if you get out there and you're just deer in headlights on defense, man, we can't just give up wide open drives. And I mean, we're doing it anyway, but you can't be a straight up liability on defense while you figure out your offensive game. Like that,
Right.
that can't happen. I don't think
For
Bruce is
sure.
going to put us out there like that. So what happens in the meantime? You fight it out with your guys. You hope somebody makes the shots eventually, and hope that can get you some wins. But man, I mean, if we're playing like this and we haven't played anybody considerably good yet in conference, Georgia isn't that good, and neither is Florida. What does this mean for the rest of the? We got maybe 3 teams that are actually good in the conference, and that's going to be a scary sight. If like Missouri might be legit.
Oh no, Missouri could hoop. Like they
Yeah.
are legitimate hoopers.
Yeah, they
Arkansas
can
is
play.
legitimate hoopers.
And
Bama are
Alabama,
legitimate hoopers.
unfortunately, they are
Tennessee
legit.
is a very good defensive
They're a good
team.
defensive team, which doesn't bode well for us.
Yeah, there's some teams that can play. Texas A&M is still a very streaky season. I mean, a very streaky team that can go out there and do some things.
LSU is kind of scrappy right now.
Yeah, it's still too early for me to push the panic button about anything because we have the capability of playing defense so well. But we're going to have to figure out how to put up points. Like that's just the offense can't be right now. Again, turnovers. We're up to 10. I said that we need to be sub 10 in order for us to really be doing something. We're at 10 turnovers right now in the game, and it's still just under 6 minutes left in the game. I doubt we just go play mistake free for the rest of the game. But yeah, he traveled, bro.
Yeah.
He stepped out of bounds. All right, good. Anyway, but yeah, I doubt we play mistake free for the remainder of the game, but we do have to figure out how to not just give possessions to the other team with stupid, like it's almost always dumb turnovers, right? Like it's very rarely that
they're
teams
bad.
are forcing turnovers on us. We're basically just like lazy passes, dribbling the ball off our own foot, that kind of stuff happening.
Right.
And then we have possessions like that where there's no reason for Jay Will to take that 3 from like 2 feet beyond the arc. Like that's just not a good shot for him. So I don't know, man. We got the rebound, but it's still just not. It's not a great possession, man. Like,
yeah, and then, like the guys who are playing bad start pressing,
right? And that's what I think Wendell
happen.
Green is doing this game. He's pressing because he hadn't been shooting the ball well, and when he's pressing and just taking bad shots, it makes the offense stagnant. That's not a foul. It's a flop. Anyway,
Brett Browning says, I told you pregame, Mike KD is looking for the foul and not getting the calls.
That's his game, is going into the bucket, trying to get fouled.
I must agree.
And I said in the pregame, the thing is that he needs to go in there looking to expect the content, but to make the bucket. And that's the problem, is he's looking for the content in a contact. And when he doesn't get it, or he doesn't get the call, he's not focusing on the make. And I just don't know who or how they're coaching him to do that. It's like, he's a contact guy. Like his entire game workout should be we're going to put this thing up here and you're going to finish through contact. You're going to go in here, look, seeking the contact, but you're going to finish because he does it so much. Don't leave the bucket there. If you get the call, great. But if you don't get it, we at least get the bucket.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
John Brannon, fill in the blank, guys. Arkansas might. No? Okay.
Lose on Saturday to us.
That doesn't fill in the blanks, Ike, but I hope so too.
You know.
Yeah, it's Mike G said it a few weeks ago. We might need to start tempering our expectations for Auburn basketball this
My
season.
expectations got lower the minute I saw Westry and Traore not be as good as I thought that they were. Like, that's what changed my expectations for this team, because I thought that they were going to be difference makers, and they're not. Right. Like, that was what was going to put us over the top. Oh, we got a big guard that can come in and play a little point, and he can, help us when we're going to be playing against big guards defensively, and he's so crafty with the basketball. None of that. Oh, he can step out and shoot the three for a big guy, and he's so athletic, and he can run the floor and finish around the rim. None of that. It has been lost and freshman-like for them every single game. I have not seen a game where either of them has played well.
And it shocked me with Westry because he showed promise over in Israel, man. So that just surprises me, man, for sure.
Both of them did. Traore was one of the leading scorers over in Israel. Like, I just don't understand how they play. And does that just mean the Israeli basketball team is not that good?
Right.
Because but I mean, even against the weaker competition over here, they haven't looked good. So I'm just like they got to be what is it? Is it a confidence thing? Like, I just don't understand. Are they just not playing loose? I don't understand. When the game started meaning something, they stopped playing well.
Right. Well, I mean, and some of that is, even if you did play well over there, those guys weren't the most athletic competition that they would see.
Yeah.
What they didn't get to see is somebody just stay in front of you, or somebody equally as tall. Like we talked about it when they played the first two games.
That's 5 seconds.
The size advantage was just ridiculous. And it's easier when you don't have as stiff a competition. Even if they were as skilled, they still weren't as athletic, man. And I think it's probably just an adjustment. It's an adjustment, which most freshmen do go through, unless you are an exceptional physical specimen yourself. And neither one of them are. Like, Traore is tall and he's got a good skill set, but he's not the quickest, the fastest with the most springs in his step, and neither is Westry. So they're figuring it out on the go, and which is, man, I'm like you, Ike. I really thought Westry was going to be a big key. I'm glad Donaldson's in here, but he's doing well. But
I mean, he's not the point guard. He's just a point guard.
He's there to distribute and play defense, which he does a decent job of. And I wouldn't expect him to do too much more right now. Broom is saving our hides. Well, not saving.
I mean, it ain't close enough to call it saving our hides.
Yeah,
he's doing as embarrassing as it could be if
he's doing his job.
Part. He's doing his part for sure.
He's got 18 right now. But yeah, I mean, somebody else has to be able to make a basket in order for this to even get close. He traveled, bro. Like, they have not called a travel on Georgia this entire game, and they do it a lot. It's a good pass ahead, good pump fake, good make.
Scandalous misconduct. What a name. Having two of the best players in the league last year masked a lot of issues behind the scenes.
I don't know that it masks them. I think we knew what the issues were for this team, and that's why I said I think the freshmen coming in were going to be guys who I thought were going to bring us to that next level. I liked what Janai Broom brings to this team as far as his ability to score in the paint, and he's showing that in this game. He can be the best player on the floor for Auburn, but you were hoping to be able to get double-digit scoring from two other guys that are not playing significant minutes and aren't playing well, right? Like, if you thought what you saw in Israel was going to be what Janai Broom was going, excuse me, not Janai Broom, but Traore was going to be, you're going to be getting close to a double-double for him per game. Traore scores 10 points in this game. We're up by 1, right? Like, it's just a difference in what you thought you had to help close the gap from those two guys isn't there. And so now you're scrambling to try to figure something else out. And we just don't have it.
Yeah.
So yes, you're going to lose a lot when you lose those two guys, but you weren't supposed to lose that and get nothing back, right? You were going to get Janai Broom plus Traore plus Westry. And what you got was Janai Broom plus a consistently good point guard, not scoring guy from Trey Donaldson, right? But you
Yeah.
don't get the other two because Trey Donaldson's supposed to be the guy that's going to redshirt this year. We're going to see a lot of minutes because Westry was going to give you the big point guard minutes, and he's not.
Right, for sure. Corey
Wait,
Dub
Oh,
says this doesn't even look like a tournament team.
We can make the tournament.
I think we can. I mean,
playing like this, of course, it's hard to see that, but it's still a lot of basketball left to be played in this season, man.
Right.
And we've played better than we're playing tonight, and we can continue to play better. I understand that it doesn't look like that today, but I'm not ready to say we won't make the tourney. We're not a top 4 seed. We're like a 6 seed, 7 seed.
That still get you in there,
right?
That still get you in. I think we get in there, but I just know, yeah, it's just rough. It's rough. Do we? There's an enemy. There's an enemy amongst us.
He's a friend of me.
Yeah, I guess that is.
Of course, the guy who doesn't really get into basketball, of course, he wants to come in on this game when we're out here getting beat up by his team. Yeah,
of course.
Go away, okay? Go away. We love you, but go away. Yeah, man.
I see Bay like, man, can we just talk about football?
Yeah, we're gonna talk about football, but
listen,
man, we can't just ignore the realities that are out here. We got to talk about the good and the bad. During football season, man, can't wait till we talk basketball. Now basketball season, y'all want to go back to talking about football. Like we can't don't spend your whole life trying to avoid your issues, man. Let's just face them head on.
Yeah, we just gotta talk about it.
Hey, Paul, I'm gonna need you to settle down, sir. Settle down. All right, settle down.
Yeah.
Now, I see people worried. I see Joy right here saying, "Why is Bruce not addressing the fact that we haven't had the outside shooter outside of Jabari for 3 years?" And honestly, I think about what the G League has probably done to our recruiting.
Man,
I feel like we lost the Jalen Green or a Scoot Henderson.
Nah, we would have had both of them, bro.
I mean,
the shooting would have been a bonkers.
Yeah. It would have been crazy if we would have got Jabari and Jalen.
You had the kid who went to Tennessee this year. Was a wing player. Like we had some guys. We had some guys that we lost elsewhere for sure. He did try to address that.
Yeah, and I think you expect KD Johnson and Wendell to play better and shoot better. Like they can shoot the ball. Zep Jasper was a good 3-point shooter in the other league. So it's not as if he didn't say, I want to bring in shooters. He brought in guys he thought were going to shoot the ball, and they hadn't. And again, Traore is a better shooter that we thought was going to be a better shooter than what he is right now.
Right.
So
and I'm still not convinced Traore won't round into form. I just don't think it'll be year 1.
Yeah, I think that it's not fair to say Bruce has an attempt to address it because he definitely has. It just hasn't panned out the way that he thought it was going to.
Right. Yeah. And to keep in mind, I know that 2019 team is the one we hold in very high regard. That was like their 3rd year playing together.
Mm-hmm.
Bryce Brown was a senior. Jared Harper was a senior, if I'm not mistaken. Chuma was a sophomore at the very least. These guys had time together, and what we haven't had for the last 3 years are guys who actually had time playing together. So it may take that. I know we've been looking at one quick fix. Yeah, a talent like Jabari and Walker Kessler can do that and get you over the hump. But man, it's really hard to do that when you don't get some time together, man. We need a star not to just come in and play, but to play very well and stick around for a minute.
So this is an example of what I mean. For whatever reason, they put the Auburn jersey on lately. They're not doing well, but all of a sudden, Cambridge knows how to make those open threes. It's not that Bruce Pearl doesn't recognize it. The guys are getting in here, and then they're not playing up to their capability for whatever reason. And I don't think that that's anything more than it being a lot of pressure in this league. So some guys just aren't stepping up to the pressure of this league. Yeah, it's not looking good. I don't think that I don't think that we are going to win this game. But if we do, it will be Herculean. But we can't shoot, man. We just cannot shoot, bro. Like that's the bottom line.
6 of 24.
When you are not able to score the way that we're not able to score, being down by this much late, you don't have a shot. Like, you need Wendell Green to go on one of those crazy runs where he just like starts making threes out of nowhere, and he just hasn't been able to do it. I don't like Mike White, man. I just don't like looking at him on my TV screen, bro.
He has a very punchable face.
There's a lot of punchable faces floating around the coaching profession for whatever reason. Paul left. He's like, I'm gonna get out of here. She's gonna go enjoy this W. I think I actually, when I was doing a prediction bracket thing with some of the Auburn podcasters, I think I actually predicted this as a loss, if I'm not mistaken. Let me go look and see what I put down for this. I had this game as nope, I did put it as a W. I initially had it as a I think I was just being petty, actually. I don't think it had anything to do with my confidence. I just felt like the first road game of the year was going to be an L, but then I was like, I don't like Georgia, screw it. I'm going to put it as a W, and I should have stayed with my original prediction, but whatever.
I'm interested to see, because a lot of these guys, especially our wing players, will be gone next year. I'm curious how Bruce addresses the shooting.
Hey, listen, Aiden Holloway looks good.
He is a
shooter. He's a pure scorer. So but is he going to get in here and all of a sudden forget how to play ball? I don't know what's going on with that, right? If he comes in playing like he has in high school, then we're going to be good. As far as him being able to come in and score, it's going to be interesting to see what the guard rotation is going to look like, because Trey Donaldson's played better than what you expect. Wendell still has another year, if I'm not mistaken, and so does KD Johnson. Right. Neither of those dudes are playing NBA caliber ball right now, so they're not going anywhere. You're losing Zep Jasper out of your rotation, but like, I just feel like it's going to be really interesting to see what the guard rotation is going to look like from Auburn next year with Aiden Holloway coming in. Janai Broom can't. Oh, that's he stepped over the inbounds line. They didn't call it. It's a jump ball, timeout. They give us the timeout. Nah, bro, we got the timeout before the. Never mind. Whatever. Whatever.
Well, it seems like a slow death too. Like, why don't this game just?
It's always like that when you're losing and looking bad
by 1,000 cuts.
Oh, no, man.
He definitely got the timeout before the tie-up, though.
Yeah.
Man, let's take this break, man. Let's take a break.
Guys, you are watching the Midweek Rapport. I promise we're going to get into some good stuff in a little bit, but definitely do us a favor, guys. Share this video, smash the like button. Also subscribe if you are new to our channel. Let's pause to acknowledge some of our sponsors.
This edition of the War Report is made possible by our generous sponsors. AuburnSports.com. For news and notes on all things Auburn Sports, head over to AuburnSports.com. Athletic Architects. For young athletes looking to secure their financial future, let Athletic Architects help you to build your financial house. Head over to BuildTheHouse.com. And our giveaway sponsor, War Eagle Oil. War Eagle Oil is your #1 place for all of your motor oil and related products. For more information, visit WarEagleOil.com.
Definite thank you to all the sponsors of the War Report. Thank you for those of you who have already made the plunge into membership to the War Report. We appreciate that. If you don't know, man, we are dropping membership content like crazy during this portion of the season. A lot of film reviews happening. I've done 2 of them on Hugh Freeze. I got 2 coming up on Philip Montgomery. I got some stuff that I want to do if I can get the film on. I got some Tulsa film, so I'm going to try to look at the Tulsa offensive tackle that we got. I got a bunch of film that I'm going to be doing for you guys over the next couple of weeks, but you have to be a member in order to be able to see that stuff. So go ahead and take that step and make a membership happen. We appreciate those of you who've done it. If you are a member and you want to gift that membership from a desktop computer right there from the live chat, you can handle that and give a membership. The gift of the War Report is something that you can give no matter the season. We appreciate those of you who do that. Hashtag get your weight up in the comments to be able to give yourself a little happy present for free. We're going to be giving away something right there in the live chat. You got to be present to win. So not as many people are out there doing the hashtag today because y'all are so focused on this game, but you can hashtag get your weight up right there in the live chat, and we will be giving away a War Rapport mug to one lucky person who is here in the live chat. We appreciate everybody who is continuing to do that. Listen to us in audio format at the Auburn Express. A lot of audio only content going up as well. We got content all over the place. I'm trying to tell y'all we're working hard out here. We appreciate everybody who has been doing that so far.
Yeah, definitely want to grab a comment here. Blake, appreciate your comments, sir. He says, tough game tonight for Auburn basketball. Could not make any important shots, but Janai Broome played very well and is a real prize for Auburn basketball. War Eagle back at you, good sir. God bless.
War Eagle, man.
Yeah, definitely, man. Auburn's trailing by 10 with a little over a minute 28 left. So we can see if they can make it, if they can
Make it
pull
interesting. At least make it
Yeah.
interesting. Yeah.
No,
That boy Chris Moore shot slower than frozen pond water, bro. Frozen pond water out there with the J, bro.
Anthony Grant says, well, we always have gymnastics.
Baseball is going to be good for us this season as well, man. Y'all, listen, man. Every team ain't got to be dominant. That doesn't make them trash just because they're not dominant. Like everybody want to. It's like it's either so we funny? Are amazing or we're trash.
You know what's so funny is we're pissed because Auburn's about to be 11-3 in basketball.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Like we're not trash, bro. Like I get it that we're not out here running people out of the gym, but we're not trash. Like there's a big gulf between this team can win a championship and trash, and we sit firmly in the middle. We're okay. We're not great. We're not terrible. It just feels bad because we're not shooting the ball well.
Yeah. So you're saying we're mid?
Yes, I'm actually saying we are very mid, specifically offensively. Very mid.
You know, I don't want to talk about it anymore.
Well, let's talk about this.
That's what our job is, bro.
Let's talk about this. What do you think about Petrino going to A&M? Talk about that, but why in the closing minutes?
Bro. I'm upset. I'm upset that Jimbo might actually have a good play caller on the staff.
Yeah.
That upsets me a little bit. He hadn't got one to this point, and I firmly believe that other people were like, nah, man, you know, it ain't looking too good down there. No, thank you. But he found somebody who had a lot less to lose than the other OCs that are hot on the market. So,
how was that a foul on Auburn right there? Did y'all see the play?
I didn't see the play.
No, I didn't.
I'm trying
Chris
to look
Moore
away.
is
kudos to you for still watching, Ike.
But has inside position, and he jumps up to try to get a board, and they called a foul on him when the dude like blocked out. I don't understand how we got a foul call on that. Maybe somebody else. The foul was on somebody else.
The food almost done, man. And let them enjoy the home cooking. Let them enjoy it.
Yeah, I don't know about that one, cuz.
Yeah. T. Moultrie says the down year was bound to happen. Keep recruiting.
Again, I think it's a little early to be bailing on us like that, man. The team that made the Final Four run, what was our record at this point in the season for them? I'm not gonna go look.
We was looking,
but you guys go do your homework on that.
We was looking bad, but man, we could at least score.
They could shoot the ball.
They could shoot the ball. That's true. But I'm just saying, if you can play defense well, you can be in any contest. That's the thing. Like again, I get it. Everybody wants us to be this wonderful scoring team, and we're putting I understand that fundamentally. And we look bad offensively, but if you can defend, you can be in any competition that you're in. We just need to be better at making the makeable shots. We don't have to be a great 3-point shooting team. Jay Will's got to make the shots that he has that are open for him. KD Johnson's got to make the makeable ones. Wendell Green's got to make the makeable ones. You don't have to be amazing on the offensive end. You just have to make the makeable shots. And if you can do that, then you're in every game because you can play so well defensively.
It's true, but we're not taking the makeable shots. We're taking a lot of threes, even when it's not the best shot to be made. And that's
gonna happen in the game. I'm saying that there are shots that we had that
good shots, but we missed them.
got.
Yeah, we're missing good and rush
That's
shots.
what I'm saying. You're gonna.
Problem.
Every team takes bad shots. There's not a team that only takes good shots. I don't even think the vast majority of our shots tonight have been bad shots.
No.
I'm not sitting here looking like, oh man, why do we take that shot? Maybe 4 or 5 of them was like, man, what was that shot? But we shot 67 times. So if you're telling me we took 5 bad shots out of 67, I'm telling you, you're not taking bad shots. You're just not making shots that are makeable. And I'm saying we got to increase our percentage on the makeable ones. We're not a good offensive team, right? Like we can't shoot. But the problem that you're going to have as you get into playing teams that are more talented offensively and can make tough shots, which we do force teams to make tough baskets, is that you have to figure out a way to make the ones that you should be making. And we just have not done that well enough in the 3 games that we've lost this season.
CJ with the Ram says we are missing.
I don't know about that.
Oh, okay. We are missing Devin Cambridge energy, to be honest.
Devin Cambridge is energetic. I don't know that he was a catalyst for energy on the team. He was a highlight machine, right? Like, because he could jump out of the gym.
For sure.
If Devin Cambridge played the way that he was playing right now at Arizona State,
find.
You're way ahead.
Yeah, but I say you're way ahead of everybody right now.
Oh, my bad.
Yeah, man. But
and it was. You're right. That was a good find.
He's
a point guard, man.
If he played the Arizona State way, then I'd love to have him back on the team. Here we go, man. Robert, you are the most infectiously negative person I have ever. Like, you just like. I don't understand why you always that negative, bro. I really don't. Like it's like persistently like negative. I just so like I've asked you to do this before. What do you like? Like, let's not talk about things for the whole rest of this stream.
What makes
I just
you
want
happy?
you to talk. Like, I just want you to talk about the stuff you like. Forget about the stuff you don't like. Just talk about the stuff you like. Could you do that for me? That's like as a favor to me, because I just don't see it often. What are the things that you like just in life? Do you like flowers? Do you like candy? Do you like cake? Just talk about stuff you like a little bit. I just want to see it if you could do it.
He did like you until you went on that rant.
I don't think he liked me.
That was a good one. See, Robert said, "I like wins, and I ain't seen it."
Okay, well, if you can't find nothing that you like to talk about, then I just watch and I don't know. I don't understand. Like I because again, it's not as if you're necessarily wrong. I just don't know that I ever see you say anything is good. Like, is there nothing good in life?
Well, that's it. I'm closing the browser right now.
Oh yeah, I mean, there's the game's over with. There was no way we're gonna come back in 3 seconds. But
call that.
But yeah, bad game overall offensively. Like, we end up shooting 22% from 3, 35% from the field.
Yikes.
That's not winning basketball, man.
Nope. And they just refuse to let this game in. T Multra says, Ike, do you believe that the shooting can improve?
No.
I don't think we are trash, but not a tourney team pass for. I think we're first round. We get to the first round and we out.
I mean, again, I'm not going to count out a team that can play defense really well, but can the shooting improve? I don't see it. I just don't see any hope for that, because the guys who you need to shoot better are Wendell Green and KD Johnson, because those are the guys that can get hot and make it uncomfortable for other teams to be able to figure us out offensively. I don't know how those guys get out of the slump that they're in, and they're in a pretty bad slump. So I really don't know what to do with that other than say, no, I don't feel like we're going to be better shooting the ball. We've got to be better at taking care of the ball, and we've got to be better at playing defense that gets us in transition, because we're doing decently. Okay, listen, man, Georgia scored 76 points tonight. We're only surrendering like 70. What are we surrendering on the year? Let me look at that and make sure because we're giving up 63, 61 something on the year. So again, not the best defensive night that we've ever had. On the year, we're giving up 62 points a game, right? So It's not an awful defensive night from Georgia. Actually shot out of their minds tonight. Let's be clear. Like, they were making a lot of stuff that you expect to give guys some of those shots, and then they don't make them, right? But back to the question, can we shoot better? Probably not. I don't know how Wendell finds it. I don't know how KD finds it. If they can find it, yes, because Alan Flanagan's never been a good shooter. Jay Will has been a decent shooter most of the year. Tonight, he didn't have it. Janai Broom, not going to be a good outside shooter, has played better within the lane. Like, where do you find that shooting from? Zep Jasper is who he is. He's not going to take a lot, but he's going to make a decent amount. Trey Orr, not shooting the ball enough to be impactful. I just don't know where you find it. You have to find it from the guys who can do it, and they're just not doing it thus far this season.
Yeah.
And with that, let's shift some gears. Talk about something people can get excited about.
Yeah.
Unless Robert's been quiet, so apparently he can't find anything positive to talk about. Or he just left. He was like, screw Ike, I'm out of here.
I like to leave. A lineman asks, how's Mike G doing?
I mean, we could talk about it. Or I thought he was going to do it himself. We could just let him say it himself.
Goodness gracious.
Was I supposed to say or too?
Yeah.
or.
I'm waiting on y'all. This is y'all's show tonight. I was listening. I was enjoying listening and watching as Ike was commenting on Auburn. My thoughts have not changed about this team. I just don't think there's enough shooting. We've gotten used to Bruce Pearl putting together something out of something or something out of nothing, and it just feels like this is a tournament team. But the prospects of them going very far in the tournament, to me, are not very great. Not shooting like this. So somebody had asked earlier, why hasn't he addressed outside shooting? And I agree with Ike. He's not tried to address it. It just hasn't panned out for whatever reason. It hasn't panned out. So, I also read a lot of write-ups about how Georgia might be a lot better than people think this year.
Yeah. No, they're a decent team.
Yeah. Like, so it was interesting, just kind of a watch. And so I promised to take it easy. And then I turned on Auburn basketball, so that's kind of like the opposite. But this is gonna be. I know we're about to pivot to football, but we just paid our coach. It kind of feels like, and I'm not saying this is what it is. We just paid our coach like $50 million. And you expect maybe the coaching to fill some of that talent gap. That you have, find a system that works for these guys where you can still produce points, even though maybe you're not scoring or shooting the way that people expect. But that 2019 team, guys, really spoiled folks. I mean, the outside shooting on that team was just insane.
Unreal.
Yeah,
Unreal.
And you had your point guard was getting up for putback dunks at times. I mean, it kind of spoiled people. And at some point in today's game, you're going to have to find shooters. You have to find shooters, right? And you're not going to be able to big boy everybody down low. I still like what I see from Janai Broom. I still think this team has a ton of young talent that's just like great. But for whatever reason, in college basketball, I think I don't know if this is fair to say, but of all the college sports, I think there's more parity in college basketball than any of the other ones, where an underdog can just come and
for sure
TCU people, right? I still think Georgia by 3 touchdowns next Monday, but we'll save that for another show. And we'll it's a little bit harder. So the conference is getting tougher. I think the conference is getting tougher in terms of basketball, and Bruce Pearl himself is his name brand. So people have come to expect a certain level of basketball from a Bruce Pearl coach team. And I think this is just a tad below that standard. This feels just a tad below that Bruce Pearl brand name standard. So it happens. You have up years, you have down years. I mean, I still think Kentucky fans wanting to fire Calipari is ridiculous.
What are they paying him per year?
Well, okay, like that's a great point. Like he's being
That's
paid.
funny.
Yeah,
That's funny.
but again, he got them. He set that bar. He got them accustomed to that level of winning, right? And now,
did he? Or is that just Kentucky with
I
the
was
number
about
of
to say, 'cause
championships?
I don't know. I want to concede a lot of points to Brian because I've been down. So I'm just going to say Brian's
I'm
right.
sorry. I'm not trying to drain all your energy, man. I'm sorry.
I would concede a lot of points. I'm joking about that. But
No, he definitely. So here's what I
did he
will
not
say.
raise the bar there a little in terms of
He
expectations?
raised the expectations because of the way he was recruiting.
Okay,
Right.
fair enough. That's fair.
Right.
Yeah, and
Right.
so
Like
this is what I'll say about Bruce Pearl.
Well, but
right?
what was that one team with John Wall and like their whole starting
Boogie
five went to
Cousins.
the NBA one year or something.
They're going to be loaded with talent, but listen, this is the issue with the Auburn team right now, and this is something that people haven't acknowledged. We don't really, like, as far as top tier talent, we don't have a ton of it. We got but like we're just getting to the point where we're getting one or two guys who are supposed to be transcendent. And again, Traore and Weststreet were supposed to be those guys. Both of those guys were highly touted recruits. Everybody's super excited when we landed them. They haven't panned out.
Well, I was thinking
you're not going to have a five-star.
Let me ask you this: has the one and done? Did it get us this year?
Oh, for
this
sure.
is what the one and done. This is what the one and done. This is what people complain about the one and dones getting these
one
guys
more year,
and they go.
One more year, Jabari would have been transformational for the
team. Yeah, we'd be a much better just because we can shoot the three a lot better just with Jabari Smith being out there. But there's no way
he
takes
the focus off of so many people.
Another Jabari Smith one more year in college basketball would have been a terror on everybody.
The guy who I think jumped too early, actually, there's two of them that we had a bunch of talent from, and they jumped too early. Was Sharif Cooper and JT Thor.
JT Thor, okay, all right.
Sharif Cooper and JT Thor, I think, should have. Sharif Cooper got taller and bigger. I was like, when I saw him in some highlights, I was like, that is not the same dude that played for Auburn that back half of the season, bro. Like, he's a much bigger kid now. He grew a couple of inches and he put on a ton of weight. If Sharif had come back and been that dude in college, because he's out there playing against, they're not like NBA pros, but he's playing against pros and making them look silly.
Yeah, I felt that way about JT Thor. I was like, man, if we could have had him one more year, it would have been something. Holding on to talent has become the new side of recruiting, right? With the one and dones. Yeah, I mean,
it's so tough in basketball
because you can go and be instant impact at the next level at 19.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
And so there was a tweet about Jabari Smith's body language on the sideline. Ike, did you see this? Mm-hmm. Well, the guy was they're essentially saying these guys are done with the coach, and it shows in their body language. They showed like a video of Jabari sitting next to
retweeted it. He said, "Y'all say anything."
Yeah, I'll say anything, right?
Yeah.
And it's a young team. Now, I think a lot of Rockets fans, I follow some Rockets accounts, have accepted like, hey, this is just a young team learning how to play basketball. These young guys are learning how to play the game at this level. Mm-hmm. So
I don't think it's a very well constructed team, though. Like they have a bunch of talent, but I don't think that they play very well together. I think that there's just not a lot of chemistry on that Rocket squad.
Yeah, I mean, it's just so tough in college basketball when one guy can go and be instant impact immediately at such a young age, and it's a little harder to do that in football. Number one, because they just literally won't let you, right? Like you got to be 3 years removed from high school,
right?
And I don't know if it's fair to say you got to stay in college 2 more years before you can do that. But with the NIL rules, I mean, I just would like to see some of these kids stick around a little bit longer. And that may be, as a college sports fan, that may be a little selfish of me.
Some people can stand to benefit. I think Sharif, to Ike's point, if Sharif had stayed, Sharif would have gotten his just due.
I actually was going to bring this point up. I think Sharif Cooper in the age of NIL does stick around at least one more year.
Yeah,
because his draft prospects weren't as high as what he had hoped them to be.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And
he could have made some money and improved his game.
Yep.
It would have been an easier decision to, to your point, rather than, because sometimes it's not all about them. They're making decisions about their families, and there are things that go into these decisions that they're not going to talk about openly.
Yeah.
But I like that point. I just think in the age of NIL, I'm hoping that maybe the effect is we get athletes like transformational athletes like Suni Lee to stick around one more year in college and just do it. We know she's not going to make it 4 years at Auburn, right? But especially in basketball, and definitely, for the kids, that it will help in football. So, yeah, that's just my thought about NIL. I thought that was a good point you guys brought up about, one more year of just holding on to talent changes the landscape of recruiting as well for some of these other schools that are looking for talent.
Yeah.
Right. And so it maybe closes the gap between the haves and the have-nots, because there's more talent staying in school another year, and they can't all go to Kentucky. Right. So I don't know.
And just chemistry too, man.
Yeah, for sure.
How many more years do we have on this sanction on scholarships?
Oh yeah, I keep forgetting we were in timeout, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't remember.
I don't know.
I know one thing I keep thinking about though with the guys that he gets in. There was before the season started, and I was at one of the few presses I was able to make, and somebody had asked Bruce about the time he spent with Westry, because they both went to get their knee surgeries at the same time, and he said he's a go get it, a hard worker, and that's the type of guys I like. And I asked him, why have you been able to consistently find that guy? He said, honestly, we could be in it for a lot of considered better players if they were willing to work, or they were, if I promised them that they would have a certain number of minutes or whatever. He said, but I don't promise them that.
Yeah.
I tell guys, you're going to come here, you're going to get better, but it's going to be because you work. And I think about a guy like Traore, right, who we were recruiting. We didn't get him.
Yeah,
he committed to LSU. He bounced here because LSU's coach got fired, and that mess left a little bit of a fallout. So, I mean, he's here, and we hope that he rounds into form, that he doesn't, transfer out or go to the G League, but that he stays, he does the work, and he turns into the prospect we thought he could be. But at the same time, he's one of the guys who initially, at least, rejected the Bruce message of come here, work for your room, work for your game, and do that work for yourself so you can be the best possible prospect you can be and get to the league. Is there, what may be missing is that message may bounce off of some of the more elite recruits. They want to just get promised that they're going to be, you're going to be the face of all of this, and you're going to get all these minutes and all these NIL, and then we'll buy you off to the NBA. But it's like, but that's not really what Bruce wants to do. He's cool with one or two of those guys, but everybody else has to be from the Bruce factory.
Right. And I don't even think, like, who has been the guy in this run that Bruce has had that you can say is that, like, everybody who even had, like, Chuma Okeke was a revelation, right? Like, nobody thought Chuma was going to be as good as what he was.
Chuma was so underrated.
But he bought in to the philosophy that you're talking about, B.
I hate he got hurt, man.
Hey, I'm just going to come here and I'm going to play my role. But when it got into that crunch time, Chuma was that dude that was going to give us buckets.
Right.
And buckets he got.
And so you really need, that's essentially, we can talk about the Jared Harpers, who I think is a great floor general, and we can talk about the shooting of a Bryce Brown. This team needs a Chuma Okeke.
Yeah.
You need somebody who is willing to say, yo, just get me the ball, bro, and I'm going to go get a bucket.
Yeah.
Whether it's shooting a three, whether it's medium range, whether it's taking it to the basket, he's going to defend. He's going to work hard. Like, I don't need the ball up until the last 5 minutes of the game. No, give it to me. Every other minute, I'm gonna get it in the flow of the game. Last 5 minutes, just get him the ball and get out of the way and let him do his thing. I think we're missing a Chuma type of player on this team. Not the 3-point shooting of Bryce Brown, not the Jared Harper floor general pull up from the timeline. We're missing a Chuma.
Hey, it doesn't hurt. It doesn't hurt though. It doesn't hurt.
No, it doesn't hurt to have it. I'm just saying the collection of talent we have right now with a Chuma Okeke type of player where you can just go get a bucket whenever he really wants to.
It might open things up for some of these other guys as well.
Exactly.
Too,
right. Janai Broome would eat with a Chuma Okeke on this team.
Yeah.
He'd eat, because now you can't just collapse the paint on him. Jay Will would be that much better with a Chuma on this team, because Now the paint opens up as soon as Chuma gets the touches, right? He's going to work hard on the glass. He's going to get you just have so many other guys that will eat. And the problem is we just don't have that guy who you can say, give them the ball. And honestly, we didn't have him last year. As much as I love the game that we had out of our two guys, Jabari and Walker, neither one of those were give them the ball and get out of the way guys.
Which is why we struggled down the stretch. Once guys knew how to play us, we didn't have a guy who could, despite everything, give me the ball, man.
Right.
But, again, I'm make this point. Jalen Green was that guy, is that guy. Scoot Henderson's that guy.
Yeah, for sure.
And
Sharif was that guy.
Yeah, eventually he has become that guy. So it's like he's getting them in
those
here.
two for sure, though. Those first, Jalen Green is definitely a give him the ball and get out of the way. Scoot Henderson is, bruh. Scoot is nasty, bro. He's nasty, bro.
So Bruce is going to have to get in there for guys who aren't also considering the G League. Like, hey man, let's knock it down a notch. Not because you can't get them, because I mean that's a tough ask.
You mean the best players out there?
I know, right? But the best players keep if that's the whole if that is the slot that we have, what we're missing is a guaranteed scorer. We've missed to the G League on a few guaranteed scorers right now. Then you go, okay, what are we missing the last 2 years? Guaranteed scores.
Yeah, we've definitely the G League has been our biggest nemesis for being a transcendent basketball team the last 2 seasons for sure.
Yeah, the landscape of recruiting is changing.
The last 3 years, I guess I should say, and going back to Jalen.
No, that landscape of recruiting is changing. And this is going to be on him down the back half of his coaching career to figure out a strategy on how to adjust to that and get guys to come here and play and kind of almost like you're reinventing the brand every year. You're giving guys more reasons to come to college, come to Auburn, play 2 years, play 2 years, and then go on and chase your dreams. So I know On to Victory, I think it's called, the collective. That we're using now might become really instrumental in making that a reality for the athletes that they're ultimately trying to convince to come. And then to stay for at least two years, because I mean, God, like trying to put it together from scratch every year for a coach has to be frustrating.
Oh, it's rough.
Being a college coach in the landscape of the transfer portal and NIL has got to be like, especially if you're like a seasoned coach, right? And you didn't really come up in this. It has changed. Like, the guys who were the powerhouses, they've been doing this stuff forever, right? Like they've had the machines running behind the scenes, but like trying to spin up a machine in this era that you need to be able to compete, that's rough, man. And then you're getting all of your talent poached consistently from guys who have the machines already.
Well, I think that's when some of the lesser brand names like that you're not hearing about, but they're keeping their guys a couple more years so they get a chance to develop that team chemistry, and all of a sudden what people think is a Cinderella is actually just a team who had another year to gel together.
Right.
Sure. Right. Rather than a super talented team that, you've got a lot of good individual actors, but they have not learned to play together. And it equalizes sometimes unless you have that one guy that can just go out and just destroy everybody. So this is change. This has changed. I still think Auburn is a top 10 program right now in college basketball. Now they may not be playing like a top 10 team right now, but I still think Auburn is a top 10 program. Bruce is just going to have to go to the drawing board and find a way to, reinvent what his process to some extent to match what's happening right now at the college sports level. It's insane.
Yeah, that's an interesting. I mean, I don't know that I've thought about who are the best programs in college basketball, but to your point, being in it for the top talent in college basketball certainly makes the case that people want to come play here. You don't get guys who can go straight to the NBA or to the G League and be killing it unless you're a program that looks attractive to those guys. Right.
So. All right, guys, let's go ahead and get to the giveaway so we can talk football. This is my last attempt for us to do that. We're giving away a mug courtesy of War Eagle Oil. Get the hashtag in the comments. Ike is about to draw right now. Take it away, Ike.
Only 40 people out of all the people in here put the name
like
in
your
there.
chances, then. Gotta like your chances because we ain't waiting.
282 folks. Only 40 people put into the drawing. Steve Bradley, what up?
Steve Bradley, let us know if you are here. I will grab some questions, guys. Let's be brief on this so we can pivot. Damian Smith says NIL deals will need to reach that of NBA G League rookie contracts because the kids deserve the right to make the money.
Talk to the fans, to the alumni, right? Talk to the people who are giving the money to make these things a reality, right? So Auburn's. I've said this about NIL. NIL is not about what Auburn has to do. It's about what the community has to do.
Yep.
Right. To produce those dollars and make them available for them to be able to act within the guidelines that are there.
Yeah.
And kids know if I go there and I'm a top talent, I'm going to get paid because On to Victory is there and they got money.
Yeah, for sure.
Right. I mean, that's it. It's got to be known. I mean, I know we made a lot of jokes about it, about how much money Ole Miss supposedly raised for their collective, and then they turned in like the 50th ranked recruiting class. I don't know that they finished there, but
I think they're still there.
Yeah, I mean, it was embarrassing to me based on how much money they claimed they raised, right? So there was a disconnect between the dollars they said they raised and the result, and I guess the message about those dollars. So this is going to be a whole sales pitch, right? To athletes, and it's going to be marketing, right? Like you have a separate arm that's not technically part of your athletic department, but they're a fundraising arm, and they've got to put together a marketing team that's going to have to put a message out there to prospective athletes to say, if you come to Auburn, Daddy Warbucks has got you. Yeah. Right. And I mean, it's more than just come play here. We'll get you to the league. That used to be the message.
Yeah. I mean, listen, before NIL, I think we had the most solid message around that for guys, which is you come, like, that's what got Jabari, right? Which is you can come here, not beat up your body for a year because we're not going to play you more than like 20 something minutes until it gets to the crunch time. You can be on everybody's radar, show off the skills that you have. We're going to put you around a team of people, show you how to play the game of basketball with a bunch of other talented people. You're not going to be the most talented person on the floor every game type of thing, right? But you're going to get solid minutes, and people are going to showcase your skills, and we're going to put you in the league. And that's he delivered on literally every promise he gave Jabari, which is, I'm going to let you play top talent. We're going to put you on TV consistently. We're not going to beat your body up by playing you a bunch of minutes. We're going to showcase what you can do, and we're going to get you to the NBA.
Right.
Check.
For sure.
And then he's been rinsing and repeating and showing I can put guys in the first round of the NBA draft, and we've done it
year after year.
Yeah.
Steve Bradley says, wow, been over a year and finally won. Thanks, guys. I am here.
Hey, listen. Ask Corey Weber. You just got to hang in there, dude. You just got to hang in there. Eventually, it'll happen. Dreams come true.
Absolutely. And this is how you can secure your prize. Email us, business@the-war report. Give us your physical address and enjoy that mug. Congratulations to you, sir. Guys, listen, enough basketball. It's portal season. We already had a lot of visitors on campus today. I do want to ask you guys about Dylan Johnson, the running back who left Mississippi State. Auburn felt good about him at one point. There's also rumors about him actually staying at Mississippi State with all the transition they had, but he made a decision to go out west to Washington. Now, I don't think this one hurts because I think we already knew who supposedly RB1 was or is going into the season. And maybe dude just didn't want to share the rock wherever he goes, coming from a Power 5 school. So Do we really need a running back here? There's other positions of need, which we'll talk about in a minute: offensive line, defensive line, linebacker, edge. How big of a loss was this, if any at all, in your opinion, guys?
It wasn't huge to me. I mean, for him, I think it's a great decision because right now, if you're going to the Pack, they don't play any defense out there. I mean, he might run a wild, and his draft prospects will go up, and then he'll get to the league where they do play defense, and they'll find out he's not that good. So I just think for guys transferring out west right now, not just at running back, but at almost any offensive position, think about all the Pac-10 quarterbacks that were putting up like Heisman numbers out of the Pac this year. It wasn't just one guy, and then one guy actually won it. So I think it's a smart decision for him, certainly right now. I mean, he's playing. If it were me, I'm playing chess. I'm playing whatever gets me that big first round contract, and doing that. Now, contrast that within the Southeastern Conference, where they do multiple things well, and I just don't think it was that big a loss, honestly. I think Hugh Freeze's offense is going to be multifaceted. I think that the tight end position. I read an interesting tweet today about how his receivers average like just over 800. Like his top receiver averages just over 800 yards. A season. On average, I'm like, that's crazy. Those are crazy numbers for Auburn in terms of receiving. I just don't think it's that big a loss. I think Auburn is going to have to be really multifaceted, and multiple guys on offense are going to have big years next year in this first year of the Hugh Freeze era. So, now I'm biased. I'm a Jarquez Hunter guy. I've always been. But you do need multiple guys who can do the job. I like Damari Alston. I think that he is a budding star just waiting to burst onto the scene. And, it just kind of is what it is.
The one pushback I give, Mike, and this is a question. Ike, you can even jump in as well. But Jarquez has been known to get the injury bug.
Yeah.
So with him, if not hoping that at all, but if he was to get injured, you don't have a lot of experience behind him, even with the returning Damari. Does that make getting a guy in there with some experience, does that make that important to you?
Well, how important were those snaps that Damari Alston was getting at the end of last season, right? Like, I mean, he won't be bringing no experience. I think they did a good job in the run game at the end of last year, just getting multiple guys the ball. But I mean, I'm with you on the point that you need depth. Depth is always important. Convincing guys to come play with other guys who are really good, again, is another facet of recruiting that, the better coaches in college football do really, really well. So, that's all I have to say there is I don't think you can ever have enough good talent at this level, with the way injuries happen and the way, things just don't go according to plan. But for Auburn next year at running back position, I would probably be least worried about that position than I would be some other positions on offense.
I see people mentioning Sean Jackson. Ike, how do you figure him factoring into Hugh Freeze's offense?
I mean, so it really, for me, it's for Sean Jackson, it's going to be about whether or not Damari Alston is a true number two. If he or somebody gets hurt, I think Sean Jackson's a quality back. He just didn't get his opportunities because who was he taking snaps from? Right? Like, how do you get Sean Jackson snaps? He was hurt to start the season. And then when he wasn't hurt, again, you can bench Tank, you can bench Jarquez to put Sean Jackson in there. And that's not a disrespectful thing to him. That's saying you've got two of what a lot of people feel can be all-time great running backs for Auburn lining up in front of them. You got to wait your turn. And that's why I think it's hard in the Dylan Johnson scenario of like, if Damari Alston's as good as we think he could be, whose snaps is Dylan Johnson taking away?
Right.
In an offense that's probably not going to be as run heavy with Hugh Freeze. You're going to run the ball, but not as much.
Yeah. Not like we
Right.
saw over the last like 4
And
games.
though he can catch the ball out of the
No.
backfield, so can Damari Austin, so can Jarquez Hunter. So, like, whose snaps is he getting?
Is it fair
So
to
if
say
he
that?
wants to go somewhere and get snaps, this might not be the best option for him.
Is it fair to say? I feel like Jarquez Hunter is an exceptional pass catcher for a running back.
He is.
No, yeah,
is.
he's got great hands. Sean
Yeah, he
Jackson's
is.
got great hands for a running back. Damari Austin's got great hands. Cobb has great hands. Like, again, our running back room is actually really
All
good.
right.
I'm not turning away depth. I'm saying
We
Dylan
okay.
probably made the best decision for him.
For him, yeah, right.
Yeah.
Like, if he was going to come here, you take it. But ultimately, I don't even really see it as a miss. Right.
I mean,
But
ultimately, yeah, I'm not mad at it. I'm not sitting here like, oh man, we really need like
we're screwed. Yeah, we
Dylan Johnson would have put us over the top.
Absolutely not.
Like,
Absolutely
I just
not.
ain't,
No,
and
absolutely
again,
not.
that sounds like I'm crapping on Dylan Johnson. I'm just saying we've got good running backs.
Right.
So that's not
right.
if we had missed on an edge player, I'd be like, bro, yeah, we needed that.
Why? Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Why do bad things happen to good people? Right. We're not there with Dylan Johnson.
Well,
I think he'll eat in the pack.
Let's talk some positions that have needs, shall we? Let's talk about the offensive line. We've beefed up a little bit. The numbers look better. I am counting this is incoming guys as well as who we have currently. Offensive tackle, we have 7 guys currently for offensive tackle. 7 guards and centers. So a total of 14. Ike, you had a number that you wanted to see us get to. I think that number was what, 16?
18.
18.
Mm-hmm.
So 4 more. You want to see 4 more guys come in. We had 3 guys visit today. Eastern Michigan offensive line transfer Marcellus Johnson visited, gave it high marks. They typically do. Western Kentucky's offensive tackle transfer Gunnar Britton is here on campus and is staying through tomorrow. Graded out fairly well in pass blocking. According to Pro Football Focus, he got an 83.9 grade. Big dude. Baylor's offensive guard transfer Micah Mizkua, I think.
Mm-hmm.
I butchered that. He visited, but we got some guys. We're still bringing in guys for offensive line. This staff agrees with you, Ike, that they need some more bodies. I'm feeling good about the offensive line.
I mean, it's good direction. We still have, if we're talking about a place that we need bodies, we definitely need it in the offensive line. I like the freshmen that we have there, but it's hard to be a solid starting freshman in the SEC.
Right.
So I would be very excited to see now that we have potential guys out at the tackle position. And we have what we don't know behind those guys potentially in the freshmen and the redshirt freshmen, the guys that have not played. We really don't have any tackles in that group, but like the freshmen, we have some tackles out there. I'd like to see a center emerge from the transfer portal. And I think we would be solid because I think we have enough bodies that we can throw in there at guard. I'd like to see us get a center. If we can get somebody who's had some snaps at center and can be a general out there and pointing out all the stuff, I think that offensive line is effective day one. I don't know that Tate Johnson is that guy, but again, if you listen to me on the morning drop, you heard me talk about, I don't really know how to evaluate our offensive line based upon the difference between the start of the season and the last 4 games and their performance.
Yeah,
I don't know how to evaluate that because it's like we played like a completely different team along that year.
But then you have to factor in a new system as well, too.
Yeah.
Right. They're going to be asked to do some different things this season because that run heavy, like that old school 3 yards in a cloud of dust football that we saw is not going to be what Hugh Freeze's offense is going to be. Right. So it'll just be interesting to see. I think it was encouraging, guys, to see that the line just was not as bad as they were being painted to be. It was something that I repeatedly tried to say, like, I think we have more of a system problem than we have a talent issue on offensive line. And people called me names and told me Mike G just doesn't want to see that the line is a problem. And I wasn't saying it wasn't a problem. I just felt like the gap between, what they can do and what we're asking them to do was more of an issue than what they're capable of.
Right.
So I think you see that even more this next season. A good system will cover some deficiencies on offense, man. Right? Like when you understand what your talent can do, and you can put them in positions to not have to go out there and do things they're not good at constantly. It helps. It helps everybody look better. And I think that's what we're hoping Hugh Freeze's offense will be for Auburn. It'll be something that, hey man, the bad doesn't look so bad and the good looks even better.
Mm-hmm.
That's what people are going to be looking for next year, right? So at times, at the start of Brian Harson's second season, the bad looked worse and the good didn't look so great. And I think that was frustrating for a lot of people, thinking, man, we're again a second year into this, and it doesn't look like guys are progressing as much as they should be. Some guys look better. So it was like it wasn't nobody, but it didn't look like Auburn was taking those steps forward.
Right.
So
Lawrence Robinson has a great comment here, and it also getting the right guys out there, right? We kept asking throughout the season, why aren't we seeing this guy? Because when we see him on the field, he's an impact player. So I think getting the right guys on the field is going to be key as well, in addition to the bodies. Once you get the guys in, identify the guys who can make plays for you and put them out there.
Yeah, the offensive line shuffle is something I've never been a fan of, right?
No.
Asking a right guard to play left guard or right tackle, or guys who, they play a natural position on the line their whole life. And then because you recruited poorly or you don't have depth, you're asking a guy to shift to center and do that. And then those guys, I think that's a lot harder than a lot of people realize.
Yeah.
Right. That offensive line shuffle is really difficult because you're trying to get the 5 best athletes on the line out there at the same time, but they may not be the 5 best in tandem at those positions.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right. And it's difficult. So you're playing technically the best guys, but not the best guys at those positions.
Right.
So, you got some guy who may be a better offensive lineman, and you're trying to keep him happy by keeping him on the field. But the truth is, because of the combination that are happening, that guy should be benched. And the natural left tackle should step up into that position and do the job. I think we did that poorly for a while. And they've got to recruit better, man. And they've just got to figure this thing out on the line. The line in the SEC, I mean, if you don't have the line, you need a dynamic breakthrough quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
You need a guy who can do it running and passing consistently.
For sure.
So like a lot of Auburn fans hate when I say this. Like Bryce Young is one of the best quarterbacks I've ever seen at the college level. I think based on what his line was doing for him, what he accomplished was remarkable. And I don't care about how many championships he didn't win. He put that team on his back offensively for 2 years. He did it. Now, contrast that with somebody like Mac Jones, who I think maybe had the best season out of the last 4 quarterbacks, but he had the best line out of all of them. His line is one of the best I've ever seen, right? So their protection rate was something crazy, like 80%. And he had all day back there with those running backs and in that system. So I don't know that if he had to play behind Bryce's lines, he would have done as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know he definitely wouldn't have. He wouldn't have been. He doesn't have the escapability. And this is something we talked about this morning on the morning drop. If you listen to me and B talk about this, you go rewatch. We talked about offensive line. If you want to listen on pod, it's up on the podcast right now. And Chris Sanders just gave the quote of the day in regards to this. Starts together is better than stars together. And this is exactly this is the philosophy around offensive line, because those guys, like you just said, Mike G, they have to play well as a unit. It's not about who is, all right, we're going to put our 5 best guys out there, but can that guy play center?
Right.
Is he best equipped to play right guard or left guard? Like, who is the best right guard on this team? Not who is the biggest
y'all
mauler
healthy?
on the team.
Are y'all healthy? Because usually you can have the right combination, but a guy gets injured and throws all of that. And that's what's been hurting Auburn is we don't have enough depth. So to Mike's point, you got to shuffle guys over.
Yeah, but I just think, what we saw last season is Brandon Council in people's minds was the best offensive lineman at guard, right? Or at tackle. Oh, he's the best tackle on the team, so we got to play him at tackle. But in reality, for the collection of people, he needed to be playing center. And because you didn't want to pull him away from the tackle or guard position, you didn't put him at center, and you put a guy who, well, he's not really that good at guard right now, but okay, well, maybe we can throw him in there at center.
Yeah.
That wasn't the right fit for him.
Right.
And so, all right, cool. Let's put the guy who's best at center of the guys that we have available at center, and let's figure it out in the other places. That change came too late in the season. Let's get Jeremiah Wright off of the bench and put him in there at guard because we want to mash people. We don't have our masher in here at guard. What are we doing?
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. So, yeah. Again, this is why some coaches get paid the big bucks and some don't. Right. I think that the top tier coaches understand this. They can shuffle talent. You get with your position coaches and you talk about these combination of players and whether that's the right fit for what you're going to have to do as well. Because there's always an offensive pivot, I feel like, based on injuries or the opponent or like whatever makes you pivot from what you wanted to do to what you have to do to win. So it'll be interesting to see, again, offensively, whether Auburn is able to do that in year one under Hugh Freeze. Now, I'm going to say this every week until the season starts. Hugh put the pressure on himself in this regard about being able to turn a program around quickly and be able to coach up quarterbacks quickly. So I think it's fair to say I want to see it happen quickly. I want to see, and I don't know who else needs to hear this, but Robbie Ashford is going to be QB1 on this team to start next season.
If the season were to start today, I don't know who they're going to bring in the transfer portal, but again, I said this the beginning of or at the end of last season, and everybody was like, "Oh, it's too early to say that." When I said it about TJ, I was like, "It's his job to lose." We tried it out, TJ game 1. I'm going to say it right now, and I've said it before. QB1, it's Robbie Ashford.
Robbie Ashford, yeah.
Like you can dislike it all you want, and you can say, well, I need to see more from him. Yes, we need to see more from him. That doesn't change the statement of it's Robbie Ashford's job to lose. So it would behoove people to just get on board with that idea. And if it doesn't work out that way, you know what that means? Somebody else stepped up and we're better for it.
Right. And now you got two guys. I mean, the throw to Javarius Johnson in the corner of the end zone during the Iron Bowl shows you his ceiling, right? Mm-hmm. That's as good a throw as you're going to see in football.
Yeah, like there's not you can't put it any better than that.
Right, yeah. Sure. And so if he can go out there and do that consistently, it opens up a lot of doors for you offensively, right? To be able to, and you can use guys differently when your quarterback can make those kind of throws, right? Yeah. So a lot is going to go through him on offense. I mean, and not just because he's the quarterback, but because what people are hoping is he's multifaceted, right? But the system is going to have to allow for that. And I think that's where all eyes are on Hugh Freeze, right? Like you kind of touted this, and I'm going to be looking for it maybe a little earlier. Let me say this differently. I don't want to hear about rebuild next year. I just don't want to hear about rebuilding. I think go out, do the job that you said you could do because you said you could do. And I believe he could do it. I do believe, based on what I saw him do with Malik Willis and what he's done with, offensively, basically his whole career, I believe he can do it. Just do it here.
This is a fair question from Lawrence right here. What does the turnaround look like for Auburn? 7 wins and some competitive losses. Like when you say you want to see a turnaround. So
8 wins.
With what you're asking with our schedule though, with the schedule we have next year, I think that's very plausible.
Yeah. 8 wins to me and some competitive losses and no blowouts.
Oh, we can't get spanked at all next year?
No, you can't get spanked at all next year.
Mm.
You got to compete. You got to compete. Brian Harsin coached the team in year 1, took Bama to 4 OTs.
Yeah. I mean, yes.
You can't get run off the field next year. I don't think.
I mean,
with the guys that you got
if you're going to get spanked, year 1 is the year to get spanked.
I guess.
So if we win 8 games, but we lose by 20 in one of those losses, you're like, that wasn't good enough for a turnaround.
Wait, say that again.
If we win 8 games, but one of the losses is by 20, you're saying that wasn't a turnaround in your mind?
No, that's not fair to say at all.
Okay.
So maybe I'm projecting what I would like not to see at all.
For sure. Yeah. I want us to be competitive in every single game.
Right. Yeah. But, compete. Now, listen, every once in a while, you go out there and lay an egg. It just happens. Or the other team just has a much better game plan than you have.
In this day and age, man, people putting up points
So I'll revise, Ike, and I'll say I'll give you one. I give you one.
I mean, I don't know that. I would love to see us, because there's only really, and if you're fans of other teams in this conference that we have to play next year, I don't care if you get upset at what I'm about to say. There's really only 2 teams that, from a talent perspective, are heads and tails above Auburn. From a talent perspective, I think you could sneak LSU into that, and Texas A&M, if they can pull it together from a talent perspective, would make 4. But let's just throw those 4 guys in there. I want to see us split those 4 at very least, and then beat the Mississippis and Arkansas.
Did it this year. Almost did it in a bad year.
Yeah, so you split those 4 guys next season. You win your cupcakes, and then you beat the rest of the guys on your schedule. That gets you to the number that we're talking about, because you're going to lose those 2 games, and then hopefully you split the Mississippis, and then you take care of Arkansas, and that's only 3 losses right there, right? Like doable things. I'm not asking for heroics. Just do the things that you can. But right now, as we are, if we were to line up and play right now, it's still a 6-win team.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah. And you're hoping Hugh Freeze is the bridge between 6 and 8, right? Like, you're a 6-win team, but he coaches them up to 8.
We win the
great
LSU
game planning,
because we should have, won that game last year. We don't come out and lay an egg early against Ole Miss, and we end up winning that game type of stuff. Mississippi State, we win that game type of stuff.
That's it. For sure. That's how close I think Auburn was to 7 wins last season. You should have won. You should have beat LSU.
Should have beat LSU.
Right? And Mississippi State, I mean, it was Lack's first start as a head coach. I
mean, but I'm just saying,
it's really hard to lay that at his feet. But
it's not. But I'm just saying, Hugh Freeze coaching that game
should have won that game.
Right.
I think it's reasonable to say a seasoned head coach should have won that game.
Yeah, for sure. Imani Smoot says, I believe it too, and that's why I'm going to Vegas and bet on Auburn to win the national championship.
Listen, you should do this every year.
He's back. Welcome back, Imani.
Imani is like the antithesis of Robert Smith, who has not said anything since I went on that rant. So apparently he was like, I don't have anything nice to say. F you guys, and left. So my bad, Robert. If you watch this later, I apologize. I didn't mean to offend you, but I do want to just once or twice, man. I ain't asking for you to be eternally sunshine pumping.
I'll give Robert a digital hug. Digital hug for you.
I was like, tell me something you like.
Something. Just anything, bro.
Anyway, Lawrence, this is a great idea, Ike. Maybe make that a morning drop. What is the criteria that validates that Hugh is turning the program?
Ooh, we can do that tomorrow.
I think that's a fair one. I mean, is it? Yeah, I think that's a good conversation to have.
Yeah, for sure.
He jumps back in here with the super chat right there.
Less than 8 turnovers. Higher
this is a basketball conversation. Higher field goals, third down
stops and conversions. Recruiting momentum. Well, he's got that, and significant QB player improvement should get us 8 to 9 wins and program momentum.
Yeah, I think if just improving the QB position should buy you 1 to 2.
Yeah,
right. A good, a system that fits your players and proper, player placement buys you another 1. And then suddenly, instead of a 6-win team, you're an 8-win team.
For sure.
I mean, I don't think it's as far off as some people will paint it to be a successful season, but I think that would be a successful turnaround. And if you look competitive in the losses, right? Like, ball bounced this way, we would have won. A lot of fans, I think that's enough for people to get excited to say, hey, this is headed the right direction.
For sure. Good show, fellas. Again, it's rough watching basketball, but you guys came around once we switched gears and started talking football. I tell the people what they need to be doing in the off season.
You need to become a member of the War Report, and don't be offended when I ask you to be happy, Robert. That's what you need to be doing. I apologize, my guy. But become a member of the War Report. Got a lot of great content. I will get back on my series of what could Auburn's offense look like tomorrow at some point in time. I don't typically do a morning drop on Thursdays because we just talked to you guys tonight. So it's like a quick turnaround to do something else. So maybe the Friday morning drop will explore that conversation, Lawrence. But those morning drops are open to just members in the live chat. Everybody can view it afterwards and comment afterwards. But what I'm doing from the film breakdown stuff, that is strictly members on the live view, and it's strictly patrons on the rewatch. So you have to become a member to be able to get that stuff. And if I do say so myself, it's been fun. It's been good. So you guys should jump in on those conversations. Good stuff. Membership gifting is something you can do right now. Hopefully you guys will give the gift of the War Report to someone else. If you didn't get a chance to win some merch, go and shop with your boys. You know what I'm saying? Head to warreport.com, shop with us, get you some merch. Fourth and Kiffin shirts. Got a new morning drop mug that's in there right now. I think that's live in the store right now. I made a morning drop mug for you to be able to drink your morning drop stuff. It's a special one that's in there. You guys go ahead and do that. I don't even know if I'm going to give that away. You just got to go buy that one. I just feel like you need to just get that one on your own. And then go listen to us
on morning drop t-shirts too, man.
Maybe I'd get a morning drop shirt, but the mug just felt really good because it was kind of in the whole
coffee
vein, you know what I'm saying, the theme. But Auburn Express is where we are on the podcast situation. A lot of great audio only content. We'll have a Lobtown recording coming up soon with this war conversation. I know that you don't want to hear about basketball, but we're still going to do it anyway to talk about this game that we just had and preview a little bit of Arkansas. So looking forward to doing that and hearing you guys' thoughts on all of those things.
And you already know what to do before you get out of here. If you haven't done it already, share this video on your social media, like and subscribe to our channel. Help us with the algorithm. You can find us on social, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook at The War Report. We're TW Report on TikTok. That's it for now, guys, but we will definitely catch you on Friday when Ike returns with the morning drop. But until then, enjoy the rest of your week. And as always, War Eagle.
War Eagle.
War Eagle.